I'm so excited to be here and to be doing this, and I'm also like nervous. So please just, take it easy on a girl. Anyway, so today I want to talk about purpose, and I want to talk about it in relation to the story of Joseph. The reason why I'm sharing this is because it's something that I have personally been tussling with, and it's something that kept coming up, and I just thought that like maybe there's someone who's going through the season that I was going through or that I am going through and can benefit from what I have picked up over the past couple of months. And yeah, so basically what happened is that life sometimes just takes you in different directions from what you had planned. Like you've got these great plans, and sometimes they really start showing light, things start to and then all of a sudden the fire is gone, and it's like someone just came and poured a bucket of water on the thing. And that's what kind of happened. And so I was in this season where I was just like, okay, fine, like I'm not like ungrateful, I'm grateful, but like it's just like I can't make sense of what's happening. So what's up, the story that kept coming into my heart was the story of Joseph. And it came to me, I'm just going to explain how it came. So when we look at the story of Joseph, we understand this boy, small boy, gets a big vision. He gets this huge vision from the Lord. And he gets it a couple of times, and then he shares it with so much excitement. He comes to his brothers, and then he's like, guys, I've got this vision, this is what I came across, I was this big star, I was shining, I can just imagine his face and how he's describing it. And instead of getting support and yeah, kiddo, go for it, you can do it, from his family, he got the opposite. So things did not go according to plan. So instead of support and uplifting, he got the opposite of that. He got hatred, he got jealousy. They attempted to kill him. So he got attempted murder. And thank God they were just slave traders that were happening to pass by. So after they had attempted to kill him, they threw him in a hole, right? And then they were like, you know what, let's just sell him to this guy. And what I think was happening there was they wanted him, they had basically resolved to kill this boy, but they decided hey, since these people coming, let's just give them, and he would die, but he will not die in our hands. And this is his family, guys. And I know that's quite extreme, but sometimes when you have a vision and you have a dream, sometimes you run to your family with it, because you think that, I'm going to tell them I've got this big dream, this is my vision, and you really expect your family to be like, oh yeah, go for it, you can do it, you can do this, you have our full support, we're gonna, and you just don't get that. You just do not get that sometimes. This is a reality. So he gets that, and then he gets sold into slavery just after God showed him that he was supposed to be somebody. Then he goes into slavery, and he was a kid, this was a child, because I'm assuming that when slave traders are looking for slaves, they're not looking for children, they're looking for strong guys that, you can sell on the market, because people are like, oh yeah, he looks like he can pick up some bricks, he looks like he can dig, he looks like he can build. But this is a child, so I imagine even getting a proper price for him, it wasn't really something that was even in the hearts or in the minds, but got it so cheap, they're like, anyway, let's just take the boy. So they take him into slavery, and then he serves faithfully. The next thing that we hear about him as a slave is that he's now working in the household of Potiphar, and he has worked so diligently, so faithfully, that he is now head servant, right? So this guy is head servant. That means that in his slavery, he is still carrying the mantle of leadership. This guy is head slave, so he's head slave over the household of Potiphar. And the madam of the house is even giving the boy some eyes, and looking at him like, this boy is doing his thing. Pardon my the lady is like, this boy is doing his thing, and she is tempted, and she tries to seduce this guy. But because of his devotion to his master, his devotion to God, He does not even entertain the thought. He runs away. He does not even look at her. He was just like, nah, I'm out. And what happens is that this woman lies to her husband. She's like, oh, he tried to touch me. And then like he gets thrown into jail. Now, for me, at this point, I feel like I've got a lot of questions for God. Like, I'm like, God, why did you show me this vision? Like, why did you tell me that I was going to be somebody? Why did you tell me that I was going to be somebody if this is what you had planned for me? First, my family tries to kill me, right? And then I get sold into slavery. I've been working all these years faithfully serving you and serving my master, right? And trying to do good. The first instance this guy gets, right, he just throws me into prison. He doesn't even ask me, based on my record and, how I've been doing. He doesn't even ask, he doesn't even ask me what happened. He just throws me right in like, I don't understand what you're doing. I would have so many questions for God. And I think that we're part of that generation that really feels that we have a right to question God like that. We have a right to be asking him like, yo, why are you doing this? We forget that he is God. So he doesn't ask those kind of questions. He goes into jail. And while he's in jail, get this, he becomes the prisoner in charge. And for me, that's really crazy, because if I'm in jail and the guards trust me that much, I will leave. I'm not gonna stay there faithfully locking myself up and like, oh, have you guys eaten? Here, I'll collect the plates. I'm not gonna do that. But Joseph serves faithfully and still carries the mantleship in prison. And for me, that's such a powerful thing, because I'm like, wow, like, dude, he can be in a hole and be working in purpose. He can be in jail. I mean, like, how much worse does it get? And then he moves from that. Finally, after years in prison, he gets out, and he gets out just by coincidence. This guy has a dream. No one else can answer it, and he had answered, and he had, interpreted someone else's dream before, and they're like, oh, I remember a guy. He helped me out when I was in jail. Oh, let me just, So then they called him up, and then he tells his dream, and then that's how he gets out. And then finally, he's in this place where he's now serving in a place of real leadership. I'm not sure of exact title, but like, he was in the land. He was no longer a servant. He was really like a guy, like maybe vice president or something like that. In that land, he was in charge of the storehouses and the storage of the country and all of that, which is pretty epic. But what I realized when I look at the story of Joseph is that Joseph did not become a leader in the end. He did not become a leader when he was a governor in the end, or whatever the title was. Joseph was working in purpose, whether he was in jail, whether he was a slave, whether he was a student. Every place where he was walking and working in his purpose. So what lessons do I personally draw from that? The first lesson that I personally draw from that is that you don't need an office or an organization to give you a title for you to begin to walk in your purpose. If you are a humanitarian, you don't need to work for the African Union and for them to give you an office as humanitarian specialist for you to start walking in that grace. If you are a musician, if you're a songwriter, you don't need to be signed to a label for you to start writing songs to the best of your ability. If you are a fashion designer, you don't need Vogue to give you an office for you to start walking in the glory of what God has created you to do and to be. So in every season where you are and where you're walking and where you are living, you are able to still live in the purpose that God has created you for, because your purpose is not tied to an office. Your purpose is not in an organization. Your purpose is inside you. So you are the secret ingredient to this. And it's something that I've been learning and something that I'm still trying to absorb and suck in. But I really think that it's an important thing for me to say, because I feel like so many of us are looking for an organization to give us definition of purpose. We need, like, I come from, a place where, like, in Zim, jobs are hard to come by, and sometimes if you can't find a job, you really don't know what to do with yourself. You can't find okay, so what am I gonna do in life? Like, who am I gonna be? You can't figure out the who am I gonna be part without an organization giving you a job and giving you a path that you're going to walk. So you don't need an office. You don't need an office for you to understand who you are and to understand your purpose. That's the first thing. The second thing that I picked up from this story that I think is also very important is that your journey is the destination. Sometimes we're thinking of this place where we are going. Like, let's say if it was Joseph, he'll be thinking about that day when his brothers will finally bow down to him. And that day surely did come, right? But the mantle that he was given was not going to start on that day. The mantle that he was given by God started on the day that it was given to him by God. The calling on his life, who he was, his purpose. He began to live in his purpose from that moment. So at any point, now when you look at Joseph, at any point, right, if he had died a slave, he would have died a leader. If Joseph had died in jail, a prisoner, he would have died a leader. Because he was leading and he was working and living in his purpose regardless of the season that he's in. And I just wanted to say this and share it because I understand that when we go through seasons are very difficult for us to get our heads around, because sometimes they knock us off balance a bit, because you can move from a season of clarity to a season of just a lot of roundabouts, and sometimes it knocks you off balance and you're really unable to point your compass in the direction of your purpose. But I really want to encourage someone that wherever you are, whatever you do, the Bible tells us that in everything that you do, right, we should do it as unto the Lord. And I think that's one of the things that will help us to walk in our purpose and really to find at the end that we've been in purpose all along. And I believe, like, when I look at the story of Joseph and I look at the service that he did from slavery, from jail, I believe that God was still preparing him for the same job, just in a different office. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't look like it. Sometimes it looks like a pit. Sometimes it's in a cave, right? But if you can trust God, I think that's what it is also, like trusting God with your journey and trusting God with your process. And it's such a cliche thing to hear, and it's such a cliche thing to say trust the process, because it's really something that everyone says. Everyone who's successful, they're like, oh, trust the process, and like it really sucks to hear that when you're going through the process. Because for me, I can say like, yeah, okay, trust the process, but in the process, trusting that this thing is going to this thing, like where I am is a place where I'm being shaped for where I'm going, or is a place where I'm supposed to fully apply myself without hesitation. It's hard, but like, yeah, I think that's my greatest encouragement, that like, yo, if you are going to be cleaning floors in this season, clean the heck out of those floors. One day you'll be cleaning a parliament of corruption or something like that. If you are in a season of, I don't know, anything, like I can't really come up and say everything, but I'm just saying, like, whatever season that you're in, right, trust God and trust that He's got you and that He is molding you, and also just appreciate and accept the process, accept the place where you are, and not in a way of obviously accepting defeat and saying, oh, okay, I'm in a place of defeat, I'm going to be defeated forever, but really trusting God and working in that place, and understanding that you can still work in your purpose in whatever area you are, and that your destiny, your purpose is not locked up in an organization, it's not locked up in a fund, it is not locked up in another country or on another continent. Your destiny and your purpose is all inside you. So I hope that this was helpful for someone, and I hope that I hope I encouraged someone. So hey, see you next time. Bye.